Have you ever noticed how a single comment can ruin your entire day? One moment you're fine, the next, someone says something. Maybe they didn't even mean it badly, but it hits you deep. And suddenly, it's all you can think about. You replay the words in your head. You analyze them, twist them, add meaning to them. You feel your chest tighten, your heart beat faster, and even hours later, that sting is still there. It's strange, isn't it? How words, invisible, weightless, can feel heavier than stones. They can cut deeper than a knife. And sometimes, we don't just feel hurt in the moment. We carry that pain for days, weeks, even years. But here's the truth nobody told us in school. We can't stop people from saying hurtful things. The world is full of opinions, criticism, and yes, insults. They're not going away. What we can do is learn how to face them without letting them poison our peace. That's what this video is about. Today, I'm going to share 6 powerful emotional shields, 6 ways to rise above insults, built on the timeless wisdom of Buddhism and the proven strategies of modern psychology. These aren't tricks to ignore your feelings or pretend. Words don't matter. No, each of these shields is a way to understand yourself, to change your relationship with pain, and to walk through life with a kind of freedom that insults simply can't touch. We'll explore how to dissolve the self that insults try to attack, how to remember that all pain and all words are temporary, how to use compassion as a shield instead of anger, as a sword, how to pause and respond with clarity instead of reacting in heat, how to turn criticism into a tool for growth, and how to protect your peace without closing your heart. By the end of this video, you won't just hear about these ideas. You'll have 6 concrete, life-tested practices you can start using today. So, if you've ever wished you could walk through the chaos of life untouched by the arrows of insult, stay with me, because what you're about to learn isn't just about dealing with hurtful words. It's about transforming the way you experience the world. Method 1. The shield of no self-hate. You ever been in a situation where someone's words felt like a direct attack on your very being? It might have been a colleague's offhand remark in a meeting, a stranger's rude comment online, or even a family member's criticism at the dinner table. In that moment, you felt something inside you flare up, a rush of heat, your chest tightening, your thoughts racing to defend yourself. It's as if those words pierce through to the core of who you think you are. Now, here's a question. What if the self that was attacked isn't even real? Buddhism teaches the principle of anatta, no-self. It doesn't mean you don't exist in any form. It means there's no fixed, permanent you that can be truly damaged by words. Who you are is not a solid object. It's a constantly changing flow of thoughts, feelings, memories, and roles you play in life. Just like a river is never the same from one moment to the next. You are not the same person from year to year, or even from breath to breath. So when someone insults you, what exactly are they attacking? They're aiming at an image, a mental construct of you, not the living, changing reality. It's like throwing a rock at your shadow. If you believe the shadow is you, you'll feel wounded. If you know it's just a shadow, the rock passes through nothing. Modern psychology has its own way of talking about this. Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, describes something called personalization, one of the 3 P's that keep people stuck in negativity. Personalization means taking everything personally, assuming every negative comment is a reflection of your worth. When you reduce personalization, you start to see that not everything is about you. Sometimes people's words come from their own frustrations, projections, or misunderstandings. Think about this: the last time someone hurt you with words. How much of that hurt came from the words themselves, and how much came from the story you told yourself about those words? The story might have been, "They don't respect me," or "I'm not good enough," or "This proves I'm a failure." But those stories are optional. You can choose to not make them part of your identity. Let me share a simple example. Imagine you're walking down the street and someone yells, "Hey, blue hair." If your hair isn't blue, you'd probably laugh it off. But if they say something that matches a wound you already carry, "You're useless," it lands differently. It's because you've tied that wound to your identity. Here's where the shield of no self comes in. When you practice seeing yourself as fluid and ever-changing, insults have nowhere to stick. The you they think they're attacking isn't the real, living you, it's just an outdated snapshot in there. So, how do we build this shield in daily life? Step 1. Notice the trigger. When you hear something hurtful, pause. Feel where it lands in your body. Maybe it's a knot in your stomach or a tightening in your jaw. Step 2. Name the reaction without judgment. Say to yourself, "I'm feeling defensive," or "that stung." Don't rush to push it away or fight it. Step 3. Separate the words from your identity. Remind yourself, this is their perception, not the truth of who I am. Step 4. Remember impermanence. Even this feeling, no matter how sharp, will pass. The self it's attacking will change too. Step 5. Shift perspective. Ask yourself, what could be going on in their world that made them say this? It doesn't excuse the behavior, but it reminds you that their words are a reflection of them, not you. Over time, this becomes a natural reflex. Instead of being a sponge that absorbs every insult, you become like a lotus leaf, water or words. Touch it, but roll right off. And here's the beauty. When the self isn't rigid, it's harder to hurt, but it's also more open to growth. You can listen to feedback without being crushed by it. You can let go of needing to win every argument. You can walk away from conflict without feeling diminished. The shield of no self is not about becoming cold or detached. It's about being so grounded in the truth of your fluid, ever-changing nature that no single comment can define you. Method 2. The shield of impermanence. Have you ever had a day that felt like it would never end? A day where something someone said or did stayed with you like a shadow, following you into every conversation, every quiet moment, even into the night. Maybe it was an argument, a betrayal, or just a cutting remark from someone you didn't expect. And in that moment, you thought, this feeling is never going to go away. That's the trap our minds set for us, the illusion of permanence. Buddhism has a word for the truth that breaks this illusion: aluj, ananika, or impermanence. It's the understanding that all things, emotions, pain, joy, even our identities, are in constant motion. Nothing stays the same. Not one breath, not one moment, not one single thought. When we're caught in anger or sadness, it can feel eternal. But Anika whispers, this too will pass. Not in a shallow, cliched way, but as a fundamental law of existence. Even the most intense storm eventually becomes a clear sky in psychology. This is closely related to reducing permanence, one of 3 P's of pessimistic thinking. Permanence is when you believe that your current negative state will last forever. If you've ever thought, I'm always going to feel this way, or this is just who I am now, you've been under permanence's spell, the mind freezes time and convinces you that this moment is your forever. But reality disagrees. Reality is change. I remember a story of a friend who lost her job unexpectedly. In the first week, she felt crushed, hopeless, certain that she would never recover her confidence. Every morning, she woke up with a heavy chest, replaying the moment she got the news. But 3 months later, she had a new role, new colleagues, and, most importantly, a sense of gratitude that she'd left a toxic environment. Looking back, she laughed and said, "I can't believe I thought that feeling would last forever." That's the strange part. We always underestimate impermanence in the moment, yet we always see it clearly in hindsight. So how do we bring that wisdom into the present when emotions are still raw? Step 1. Name the emotion and give it a timeline. When you feel anger, sadness, or shame rising, tell yourself, this is anger, it's here now, but it won't stay forever. By framing it as a temporary visitor, you stop identifying with it. Step 2. Anchor in your breath. The breath is a living example of impermanence. No inhale lasts forever. No exhale can be held forever. Noticing this can remind you that emotions, like breaths, come and go. Step 3. Use the weather report metaphor. Instead of saying, "I am angry," say there is anger right now. It's like saying, "It's raining right now." You know the weather will change. Jenga works the same way. Step 4. Keep a change journal. Write down moments when you felt something would never end and note how it did end. When you're in the middle of a storm, this journal can prove to your mind that nothing lasts forever. Buddhism often uses imagery to teach impermanence. Cherry blossoms bloom for only a short time each year. A candle burns down to nothing. A river never has the same water twice. When we cling to a moment, trying to freeze it whether it's pleasure or pain, we fight against the way life actually works. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you trust the flow. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you accept impermanence, you can fully feel your emotions without fear. You can let sadness be sadness, because you know it will pass. You can let anger move through you, because you know it will dissolve you. Can even savor joy more deeply, because you know it's precious. In the context of insults or hurtful words, the shield of impermanence changes everything. Instead of replaying the comment for days, you recognize it as just another moment passing through your life. You might still feel the sting, but you also know it's temporary. That knowledge alone softens the impact. There's a Buddhist saying, "No storm, not even the one in your heart, lasts forever." Psychology and Buddhism meet here. Both tell us that our minds exaggerate the permanence of pain, and both offer tools to remind us of the truth. So the next time someone's words cut deep, try this: pause, breathe. Remind yourself, this feeling is like a wave. It will rise, peak, and fade. You are not the wave. You are the ocean beneath it. The shield of impermanence doesn't just protect you from the illusion of forever. It frees you to move forward while the storm is still fading. And in that freedom, you can choose your next step with clarity, rather than being dragged by the current of your emotions. Method 3. The art of not accepting the gift. Have you ever received a message, maybe a text, an email, or just a comment in passing that felt like a punch to the gut? Your heart pounds, your cheeks flush, your mind starts building its defense, crafting the perfect comeback that you'll probably never actually send, but replay 100 times in your head. It's as if they've handed you something heavy, toxic, and dripping with venom, and you're just standing there, holding it. The Buddha once told a parable recorded in the Akosa Sutta that goes like this. A man came to him and hurled insult after insult, trying to provoke him. The Buddha listened quietly, and when the man finally stopped, he asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man replied, "To the one who offered it." The Buddha said, "Then I do not accept your gift. It is still yours." That's the heart of this practice. Realizing that not every emotional package thrown at you is yours to open. In modern psychology, this idea is called emotional boundaries. It's the ability to recognize that other people's emotions, projections, and harsh words are their responsibility, not yours to carry. When someone lashes out, they're often revealing more about their own inner turmoil than about you. Anger, insecurity, jealousy, they're showing you their storm, not your truth. But here's the trap. Most of us accept the gift automatically. Why? Because deep down, we believe if someone says it, it must mean something about us. We confuse their opinion with our identity, and suddenly, we're holding that toxic package close to our chest. I remember a colleague who once told me, "You're just too sensitive to handle this work." At the time, it cut me deeply. I spent days replaying it, analyzing every past interaction to see if maybe they were right. Then one day, it clicked. This was their worldview, their frustration, their baggage, not mine. And just like that, I pictured myself setting down the gift and walking away. So, how do we actually practice not accepting the gift? Step 1. Pause before touching the package. When someone insults you, your instinct might be to react fast. Instead, imagine their words as an object in the space between you. You haven't picked it up yet. You have a choice. Step 2. Identify the sender's ownership. Silently say to yourself, "This belongs to them." Notice what happens when you mentally hand it back. There's relief, distance, breathing space. Step 3. Decide whether to respond or not. Not accepting doesn't always mean total silence. Sometimes you calmly say, "I hear you, but I see it differently." Other times, you let the comment pass with no engagement at all. Either way, you don't let it lodge in your heart. Step 4. Practice in small moments. Start with minor irritations, someone cutting you off in traffic, a rude cashier, a snide remark online. Picture the gift and choose not to take it. The more you practice with small things, the easier it gets when the stakes are higher. In Buddhist thought, not accepting the gift is more than self-protection, it's compassion. When someone hurls hurtful words, they're often in pain themselves. By not taking the bait, you stop the cycle of pain from bouncing back and forth. It's like refusing to catch a hot coal thrown at you, not just to save your own hands, but also to avoid tossing it back and burning someone else. There's a quiet dignity in this. It's not about proving them wrong or yourself right, it's about staying centered in your own truth. You become like a mountain. The wind may howl, but you remain steady. Think of emotional boundaries as a kind of invisible shield. It's not a wall to shut the world out. It's a filter that lets in what nourishes you and lets the rest fall away. Without boundaries, we absorb everything, every criticism, every negative mood, every projection, and carry it until we're weighed down. With boundaries, we travel lighter. Here's a little mental image I use. Imagine you're at a party. Someone walks up with a plate of rotten food and says, "Here, "Eat this. Would you take it?" No, would smile politely, maybe step aside, and let them walk away with it. An insult works the same way. Just because it's offered doesn't mean you have to consume it. The next time someone's words, method for the cool water of compassion. Have you ever seen someone lash out harsh words? Angry eyes, maybe even cruel sarcasm, and in that moment, your instinct is to push back, to defend, to retaliate, to make sure they know they can't talk to you that way. It's human. The mind's first reaction to pain is to return it, like touching a hot stove and pulling your hand back, except here. The hand is our pride, and the heat is their attack. But what if I told you there's another way? A way that feels almost impossible in the moment, yet transforms not only you, but the space between you and them. Buddhism calls it metta-loving kindness. It is the practice of sending goodwill, care, and compassion even toward those who hurt us, not to condone their actions, not to let them walk over us, but to recognize that their cruelty often comes from their own suffering. Imagine this. You're walking through a scorching desert. Your lips are cracked. Your throat is burning. Suddenly, someone stumbles toward you. Their skin is blistered from the sun, their eyes wild with thirst. In their desperation, they push you aside to reach the water first. Would you see only the shove, or would you also see the suffering that caused it? That's what metta does. It helps you see the pain behind the behavior. Psychology has a term for this: compassionate reframing. It's the art of shifting your perspective from "this person is attacking me" to "this person is showing me their wound." It's not about excusing harmful actions. It's about changing the lens through which you interpret them so your own heart stays intact. I learned this the hard way. Years ago, a close friend said something that cut me deeply. I thought they were just being cruel. We didn't talk for months. Later, I found out they had been going through a brutal divorce, sleepless nights, and a quiet battle with depression. It didn't make their words okay, but it made me realize they weren't really talking to me. They were speaking from a storm inside themselves. Here's the thing: when you meet fire with fire, you get an inferno. When you meet fire with water, you calm the flames. Compassion is that water. Cool, gentle, powerful. So how do we practice it, especially when every nerve in us wants to fight back? Step 1. Pause and breathe. Before you respond, take one slow breath. This isn't weakness, it's reclaiming control over your own nervous system. You're stepping out of the automatic fight mode. Step 2. Remember they're human. This person was once a baby who cried when hungry, who needed comfort when scared. Somewhere along the way, life added layers of hurt, fear, and defense. See that child for a moment. Step 3. Shift the story. Instead of telling yourself, "They hate me," try, "They're in pain, and this is how it's showing up." This doesn't mean accepting abuse, it means not personalizing it. Step 4. Offer silent metta dot in your mind. Say something like, "May you be free from suffering. May you find peace." You don't have to say it out loud. You don't even have to believe it fully at first. But the act of directing goodwill changes the energy in you. Step 5. Protect and release. Compassion doesn't mean you keep toxic people close. You can set boundaries with kindness. "I'm not okay with being spoken to this way. Let's talk later." Then walk away. The compassion is in the wish for their healing, even if from a distance. One of my teachers once told me, hurt people, healed people, heal people. If someone throws poison your way, pouring compassion is like pouring clean water. It dilutes the poison before it can spread. There's a beautiful image in Buddhist teaching, a ladle of cool water, poured into a pot of boiling soup. Slowly, the violent bubbling settles. The soup is still hot, but it's no longer spilling over. Compassion doesn't erase someone's anger instantly, but it stops it from consuming you. I've seen this in action. A woman I know works in customer service. She told me about a man who came in furious, shouting at her for something she didn't do. Instead of snapping back, she looked him in the eye and said, "It sounds like you've had a really rough day." His shoulders dropped. His voice softened. In minutes, they were speaking calmly. All she did was acknowledge his pain instead of defending against his words. That acknowledgement was the cool water. Now, I'm not saying you'll always get a happy ending. Sometimes, compassion won't change the other person at all, but it will change you. It will keep your inner peace intact. Think of your heart as a clear pond. Every insult, every cruel remark like a stone thrown in. Without compassion, the ripples keep going, disturbing the whole surface. With compassion, the water stills faster. The stone sinks, but the pond stays clear. And here's the paradox. Compassion is not softness, it's strength. It takes far more courage to respond with kindness than to react with anger. It's choosing to rise above the storm instead of being swept away. Next time someone's words sting, ask yourself. Method 6. The power of strategic silence. There's a Zen story about a great master who owned a large, beautiful temple bell. One day, a careless monk dropped it, and the bell cracked. From then on, no matter how hard you struck it, it produced no sound. When visitors asked the master why he kept the broken bell, he would smile and say, "A bell that makes no sound can never disturb the silence." Silence is often misunderstood. In a noisy world, we are taught to respond, to clap back, to have the last word. We equate silence with weakness, surrender, even shame. But in reality, silence, when chosen consciously, can be the sharpest weapon and the strongest shield. We've all been there. Someone hurls a cutting remark at you in a meeting. A friend throws shade online. A family member hits you with that all-too-familiar, passive-aggressive comment at dinner. Your whole body tightens, your mind races with comebacks. You feel the pull, the almost irresistible urge to fire back, to defend yourself, to win. And yet, what if you didn't? Strategic silence is not the same as avoidance or passivity. In Buddhism, it's the art of not feeding the fire. The Buddha often remained silent in response to provocation, not because he lacked answers, but because he understood that some battles are won, not by striking, but by refusing to engage. This is the spirit of the broken bell metaphor. When you stop ringing in response to every blow, you protect your peace. You stop being an instrument for other people's anger to play on. In modern psychology, this aligns with strategic silence, the deliberate choice to withhold an immediate emotional reaction, especially in the face of provocation. Research shows that silence can de-escalate tension, prevent misunderstandings, and give your brain the pause it needs to respond from logic instead of impulse. Here's the thing. People who lash out often crave your reaction. Your visible anger validates their words. Your emotional explosion fuels their narrative. But if you stay composed, offer no verbal hooks for them to grab onto, their momentum stalls. It's like watching someone try to play tennis without a ball. They swing and swing, but nothing comes back. I remember a time I received a scathing, unfair email from a colleague. Every sentence seemed designed to provoke. I typed out a long, defensive reply, fingers flying, heart pounding, then stopped. I deleted it. I waited 24 hours. When I did reply, it was 3 sentences long, factual, and free of heat. You could almost feel the wind leave their sails. That day, I learned sometimes your silence says more than any paragraph could. Buddhism teaches us that silence isn't empty, it's full of awareness. When you choose silence, you're not ignoring the situation. You're creating a sacred space between the stimulus and your response. In that space lies freedom. Psychology confirms this. Strategic silence interrupts the feedback loop that keeps conflicts alive. It gives you time to cool the physiological fight or flight reaction. So your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for reasoning, can take over from your amygdala, the fear and anger center. How to practice the power of strategic silence. 1. Feel the urge, but don't act on it immediately. When someone provokes you, notice the rush of heat, the tension in your chest. Acknowledge it silently. This is anger. Then, instead of letting it grab the wheel, keep your hands in your lap for a moment. Point 2. Breathe before you speak. Count 3 slow breaths. This tiny gap is enough to shift you from reactive mode to reflective mode. 3. Remember your intention. Ask yourself, do I want to win this moment or win my peace? Often they're not the same thing. Use body language to communicate calm. You can be silent, but still engaged. Steady eye contact, relaxed posture, a slight nod. This says, I hear you, but I am not your opponent. 5. Choose your moment to speak. Silence now doesn't mean silence forever. Sometimes the most impactful words are spoken later, when the other person is more receptive, or when you've had time to craft a message aligned